Alright, today on Mr. Burns' Amazing World, we're dealing with a problem that separates a lot of people from, being a regular mechanic to a very good mechanic. And that issue right there is going to be a broken bolt. Now, what do you do when you have a broken bolt like this one? Well, here's what it's supposed to be like. It's supposed to run like this, and this acts as a hinge for the rear fenders on our Big Blue. So, what we need to do now is, I have the center of that marked with a little dot you can see. And we're going to drill this with a 3/16 drill, and we're going to drill for a little while. And here's the reason why we need to drill that. Basically, we have these screw extractors. Now, these help like you would not believe. What they are is they are four-sided little spiked pieces. And we're going to use this size based on the size of the bolt that we have here. So we're going to drill a hole in there, and we're going to hammer this sucker in there. We'll oil it up good with some WD-40 to get the threads going a little bit. And we may actually have to grind that smooth. I don't know. But once we hammer this in there, we'll be able to try to turn it. And if we can get this to turn a little bit, once it grabs in there, then we should be able to get this out. So let me drill the hole, and I'll prep this and get this ready and finish this up. Okay, so I just got my drill to go all the way through this. Really isn't that much of a hole. It's kind of hard to see, maybe ½ inch or so. So now that we have the hole all the way through, we will use our screw extractor again, which is stuck in the container, of course. And we will now put that in. You can see how the threads kind of grab against that, and it's already grabbing pretty well. Now, I could have swore I had a hammer right here. Now we will give this a nice tap, because we want these sharp threads on the end of this to really bite into what was left of the old bolt. Now, I have my bit ready. It's a 7/32. Just gonna grab on the end of this here, and we will try to crank this out ever so. You know what? Before I do that, what we should do is take and put a little oil in this, just to let it soak up. Now, I buy oil by the gallon, and I put it in Windex bottles with WD-40. It's a lot cheaper than buying cans, and you can use a lot of it and not really care so much, because, like I said, I do use a lot of it doing weird things like this. Now, it's kind of hard to see. I'm putting some tension on all this. I don't want to put too much. Man, that is really on there. Wow. Well, it started to turn a little bit. Something's moving, something's turning. Okay, we popped off. So maybe what we'll do, we'll take this off, look at it, everything's still looking good. Boy, that's on there pretty well. Maybe this time what we'll do, we'll hit it in, and we'll try going the other direction. So, tap this thing pretty good. Let's try tightening this a little, because if we can tighten this, then that tells me we're getting something to move in there. And if it moves a little bit, okay, it's moving. That means we can get the oil in there to really start working and helping to lube this up and pop this thing out of here. I think what I might do next is take the grinder to it. Yeah, because I got it to move a little here. So let's try it. Now I think we're coming out again. Maybe that's all we're doing, is just spinning. Oh, I could have swore that was going. No, maybe not. Yep, we might not be. Keep trying. Now, I'll give it a try with the grinder and get that flush before we keep hammering it in. And I can still hit it again quite a ways in there. You know, you go a little bit at a time, until you really get it. And then we have bigger ones to go if we need to. I mean, that sucker is pretty tight right there. That might be the better one to go with. But again, let me grind that. Now, whenever you're grinding, it's super important to always wear goggles, even when you're drilling. I got a piece of metal in my eye when I was a kid, and I had to go, and they put me in a funny little machine, and the doctor had to go in there with tweezers, and even this day I can see a little kind of curly Q. So always wear goggles, and no matter how hard you squint, you can still get a piece of metal in your eye. I mean, these goggles are cheap and old. I've had them a long time. Of course, I get batteries and junk. Don't buy these small DeWalt batteries. They have no snot to them. Bigger batteries, much better deal. Works a whole lot better. You can see the difference between the two just in the size. It's about twice as thick. And the other ones don't run these tools at all. Yeah, look at that. Now we have some power. Now we're trying to just get right against that where our hole is. Kind of hard to see right now. But we're cleaning it up and making it easier for that to come out of there. Now we are back with a whole nother bag of tricks. Continuing on with this. We cleaned this up a little bit. You can see it's nice and ground down. And we have it tapped through there. We're going to try again with this bit for our extraction and see how we can make out. We're going to hit this one in there pretty hard this time. Give it one more try and see what happens. If it works, great. If not, I have another plan. Let's see, we were right on there. Let me put my glasses down because, man, if pieces go flying, you don't want to get hit. It's turning. You can see it turning in there. That's great. Now, my backup plan was to have to tap and thread. Tap and thread this thing. Haven't had to do that in quite a while. Guess I don't want to talk about doing it too often either. But luckily, I think we may have gotten this out with just doing this. I can see it's taking a lot of pressure on that. Uh-oh. Did it just slip or is it still going? We may have finally slipped. Okay. So what that means is we're getting a little too close to this edge, and I think there's still a couple burrs there. So if we drill that out a little bit, and try it again, so it would be nice to get this out without having to re-tap it. Okay, it's turning the whole old piece again. And we... it goes and then it slips. It goes and slips. It doesn't want to come out of there. But that's the trick, is to sometimes work with these tools. Alright, now I don't think we're having any luck. And we're doing a number on this one. Let's try. I have one more here. This is a bigger one. Clean that out a little bit. See if this one will go in. It might. If it does, it may work. That's a whole lot more force on there. Put that bit on the end. Change this here. Let's see, will that work? Will this work? I'm having a hard time getting it. I can see it twisting the tool. That's why you want to make sure you have your goggles down, because if this tool snaps, that's a real hard piece of hardened steel. You can see it flexing. I think our best bet may just be to drill this sucker out. Save our tools. Give it a bunch of vibration, that'll get the tool to pop up. Wow, we twisted that a little bit. So that is a serious rusted fast screw in there. So now what we're gonna do is, I took the bolt that went in on the other side over there, and what I did is I used these fancy tools here. Now this is a tap and die set, and this here is a thread gauge. Now what you do, really awesome simple thing to do for the thread gauge, you just take and line up the different ones with the threads until it matches up. This happens to be 1.25 threads per inch. Of course, I know this is metric because it's a Honda. So now what I need to do is match up the tap for that. So I have an 8mm by 1.25. That is going to cut the threads. Now I just need to measure the size of these threads in between here. This gauge, with our dial caliper here. And that'll give me the size that I need for the drill bit, which we are now going to drill this hole out with. So when we drill this hole out, we will then go through with that tap and cut the threads. So let me get this hole drilled here and save you the trouble. It's actually going very quickly anyway, so we'll try to show that. Of course, as soon as I go to show it, the batteries always die. This is junk batteries. I'm telling you. Keep switching between them. And you can see already how far we are through that. Say goodbye to the threads. Again, goggles down. Look at those chips fly. We're through. And you can almost see the threads already. So now what we need to do, be using other oil, but we'll put a drip of this on top of these threads, and we'll start that in. And the right tool for this one, use this thing here, which works great. And if you check out that 3-wheeler there, that's going to be our next project over there. We've been working on it. We're showing you how to redo the fenders. That's our racing one there. Took it out and did pretty good this past weekend. And check out our other videos. Watch out how we do this. Now we're going to cut some threads here. Just slowly turn this in. You'll feel it grab. As it grabs, you'll want to start to go backwards to clean it back out. Now I can feel it going. I'm barely having to turn it at all. Alright, now it's in. Now I'll go back about a turn, and you can see the crud and the stuff coming back out. Now it cleans the threads and it goes nice and easy again. Go a bunch of turns till it gets tight, back it out a thread or two. And then keep going again. Now we're all the way through the thing. I can feel it, but we'll run it all the way through just to clean these threads up nice. Back it back out. And this is a big deal. Once you learn how to do bolt extractions and nuts and stuff like that, it really makes a difference. It's not that hard. It just takes some practice and the right tools. I mean, you could see all the stuff that just came out of that. And now we have good, nice cut threads. And we shall try. We will put our bolt in here. And look at that. Ta-da! Goes in, piece of cake. So now we can finish this up, and that's done. So I hope you liked this video. I mean, if you learned one little thing, please like and subscribe. I mean, we could keep showing you how to build this stuff and what we do and how to do it and other tricks. I have this kit here, which I will show you as well. Is also an extraction kit for doing nuts, and it is just unbelievable. I'll do another video when I find the right one for that. I actually had to do it on some of these on the 3-wheeler. And this tool saved the day, and they're worth the price of gold as far as any of these extraction tools. Please check us out, subscribe. Thank you. Mr. Brian's Amazing. Kind of funny, I just went to go put this back together, and the bolt is still on there, and you can see it goes through here. That's the one we just cleaned. Now this one I can't get out. It snapped obviously years ago, so I actually get to use these tools that I was just showing you, these nut extractors, and these are awesome. You put these, you can see the little weird threads in there. They go on these bolts, and what you do is you use a big ratchet on top of that, and you just crank away on there, and it will take those off pretty well if you really try. It's going to be really hard to see in here in a second, but let's see if I can get that, and I'll let you know. It takes a lot of pressure. There it goes. I don't know if you can see that yet, but it's starting to turn. Sometimes if you put a little WD-40 on there, that can help. But this right here, that, you know how much aggravation that just saved me right, whoa, as I flung that all the way across the room. Let me grab that here. But yeah, these little extractors, I can't tell you, this is probably the 50th one of these where if you use this and it saves you the trouble to get these stupid little broken, stripped off bolts out of here, well worth the price of admission.